Good morning.
Good morning.
Get my paperwork together here. What a wonderful group of people out there today. It's so nice to come. I always enjoy coming here and sharing a few thoughts with some wonderful, wonderful people. You guys have been so supportive. As you know, I was teaching here before because I had to check off a few things off of my LUT list. And today is my first lesson as a licensed Unity teacher. Now, before you think that that's impressive, I have to tell you a little story. Our board president came up to me knowing that I had been studying for over 5 years and assumed that I've become quite the Bible scholar. And she came to me after services, a couple of weeks ago, and she said, "Marty, what book and chapter can I find this story, some biblical story in the Bible?" And I looked at her and I said, "Well, Pat, I really don't know. But like any good Unity Truth student, let me Google that for you." So while I've been in school a long time, trust me, I still have a lot to learn. Today was officially going to be Tilma Fernie. He was going to speak. But most of you probably know that he works at a hospital as a manager over respiratory therapy. And as we know, that's pretty much where COVID lands. So he is always on call and ended up needing to be available for work today. So he asked me to stand in for him. And you'll probably see me drinking some water occasionally. I take this wonderful allergy medicine that just dries me out. So thanks to Wayne, I've got a bottle of water up here when I need it. Let me just take a breath. So I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, this time of year is when I can kind of feel some anxiety inching up. We start getting around the holidays. We start thinking about get-togethers. COVID kind of adds a little extra anxiety into the mix as far as deciding how that picture looks for you. But it never fails for me that when I do make the decision to be with family, that I always end up at the table or the place with that one person who has no idea that we have social norms. That, politics is probably not what we need to talk about, and who, for some reason, has many, many opinions on many, many things, and I'm supposed to hear them all and agree with them. So just the thought of walking into that again as these holidays are approaching, I start feeling some anxiety. One of the things that has helped me is a book called The Eye of the Storm. I meant to bring it today and show it to you, and I left it sitting on the kitchen table. But The Eye of the Storm is written by Gary Simmons, and I highly recommend it because what it talks about is staying in that eye, that peaceful place, that quiet, still place, when the storm, that emotional storm, that family storm, that guest at the table storm is swirling around you. And it gives you the tools to handle that. And there are so many times when things come up that I can kind of feel myself getting sucked into that storm, that I catch myself going, no, I think I want to step over here into the eye and just get centered and not take this ride with you. So I highly recommend that book if you are like me and the anxiety may be creeping up a little bit for the holidays. All of that being said, my goal for this holiday season is to approach things differently. Instead of approaching them with anxiety, I don't want to do that this year. A friend of mine once said to me that there's really two ways that we approach life, either in fear or in love. And this is the year that I truly want to show up as love. And I titled my lesson, Making the Move, because I want you to put some thought into doing the same thing. We have about 12 inches from our head to our heart. That head is where that fear is. That heart is where that love is. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because those things that we tend to get into, it's the head that's telling us, oh my God, are those test results going to be okay? Oh my gosh, what did they think of my lesson today? Oh my gosh, I'm running late. You know, it's that, what they call monkey mind, that kind of drives what, you guys have heard me say this, Bernetta has her sayings, Marty has hers. It's that's driving the bus, right? We don't want that driving the bus. We want this driving the bus. Recently, I read an article from the Centers of Spiritual Living, which was posted by a lady named Jennifer Spear. The article didn't say who the author was, but it explains this fear that I'm talking about, this head thing, very well. So I'd like to read part of it to you after I take a quick drink. Quote, "We live in a society that has trained us to be in our heads and to come from our ego. We live in a society that rewards competition, winning, and having power over others. We are rewarded for beating others, whether it be in sports, in grades, or in job positions. Ending up on top of the heap results in better pay, more accolades, and higher prestige. We don't live from our hearts because we are fed by an extremely negative media, which we tend to believe. As a result, we become afraid and we close off our hearts. Our biggest fear is that something might be taken from us. We close our hearts off to the person who's not wearing a mask to protect others from COVID because they might take our health. We close our hearts off to politicians because they might take our money, our democracy, or our well-being. We close our hearts off to our noisy neighbor because they might take our peace and quiet and our serenity. Fear closes our hearts to others." Close quote. There's a saying that goes something like this. If you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you're at peace, you're living in the present. It's your head that keeps you in that state of fear, anxiety, anger, and dis-ease. It's your heart that keeps you connected to here, to the here and now, at this very moment. And this is why I love unity. Love, love, love unity. Because unity's beliefs and practices help us make this move. Unity reminds us that we always have a choice. We can choose to stay in our head, full of fear, or we can choose to move our consciousness to our heart, full of love. Ultimately, that's why unity talks so much about denials and affirmations. They help us make this move. First, we do a denial, which basically puts the head on notice that we are no longer giving our fear any power or energy. Then we do an affirmation, and we affirm truth. The truth we know. And that is where only one presence and one power in the universe is the presence of love, and it resides here, and we are part of that. Once we move into our heart space, there is no fear. It cannot reside there. It's not possible. In our head, it's us and them. In our heart, it's just us. If you've made the move to your heart, you're aligned with spirit. You show up to those around you with compassion, patience, kindness, care, and love. Bernie Siegel, anybody know about Bernie Siegel? He's a well-known physician and writer who's written numerous books on the mind-body connection and healing. He says this about your heart: let your heart make up your mind. How many of us do that backwards? We get caught up in here, and then we try to drive the bus from here, right? But that doesn't work too well. When we make the choice to live from our heart, we're connecting to divine intelligence, and when we make the effort to listen to this divine wisdom, it will never, ever, ever steer us in the wrong direction. It is a loving guide which we can connect with at any time, which unfortunately we often ignore and discount. How many times has that gut alarm went off? And you're like, no. And then you find out later you should have listened. In closing, I would like to share with you what an elder of the Hopi tribe said about moving from the head to the heart. He said, "What we as humans must do is take the longest journey of our life. It is not traveling around the globe, sitting on the tops of mountains, or seeking some remote land. It is the journey from the head to our heart. This is the longest journey a human can take. It is the journey that brings about peace." So as we all are entering into this holiday season, I'd just like to encourage you to be connected more to the heart space and to be that light, be that love, be that safe place, that harmony place for all of those that you come in contact with, even the ones that want to talk about politics and have really strong opinions. Thank you. I'm going to do things just a little bit different. Instead of doing the Lord's Prayer first, I want to just move us into meditation so that we can connect more with that heart space. So I just invite you to get comfortable where you're sitting and become more aware of your body. Feel your feet as you firmly plant them on the floor. Be aware as they make that connection to Mother Earth. Feel your shoulders drop as you become less tense. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to find a spot in the room to focus your eyes on, or if you're comfortable doing so, close your eyes altogether. We're going to begin with taking some deep breaths. And as you breathe in, become aware of that love that surrounds you. Big, deep breaths. As you breathe in, feel the connection that you have to each other. As you breathe in, feel the connection you have to the entire universe. And as you breathe out, become aware of any tension or uneasiness that you may be feeling, that you may have brought with you today, and release it with each breath as you exhale. And as you continue to breathe in and out, see yourself making the move. See a beam of light running from your head to your heart. And when you're ready, gently move your attention, your consciousness and your connectedness from your head to your heart. Once you have made that move to your heart, feel the warmth in your heart space as it acknowledges that you have arrived. Feel the love and peace in your heart. And notice that expansion and how it surrounds you. Become more and more aware that you are part of this energy of love. As you continue to breathe, you become more and more aware that the air you are breathing is the very breath of God. You are calm, and you are in a place of peace. In this place of peace, with an open heart, you now move in to the silence, that special place where you make that connection to the divine. At this time, I ask that you return gently from the silence. As you're leaving the silence, you are aware that you can move your consciousness from your head to your heart at any time. And as you return to this place at this time, bring with you all the love and the wisdom of the divine. Bring with you the knowledge that you have absolutely nothing to fear, and all is well with your soul. So it is. Amen. Okay, time for the Lord's Prayer. Together. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Thank you.
I don't want that to end. I'm going to take that with me. Thanksgiving. And hopefully every day. And thank you for actually leading us then to that place. Very special. And for those of you who are going to be watching this on YouTube, we hope that you can feel the energy and the shift that happened in the sanctuary as a result of our coming together. And I'm going to be watching this again. So we're just so grateful that you're with us, and we know that you are blessed, and you are a blessing to us. So thank you for joining us. And now is the time when we do our prosperity blessing, when we take our financial gifts we brought to share with the church and we bless them. You're the gift all by yourself, just by being here. But this is the time when we give special thanks for our financial gifts. So if you probably already put it in the basket or whatever, let's together do our affirmation together.
Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Thank you.